Hello, hello. Are we live?
Yes, we're live. We're just testing out the audio here.
We don't have any funny speaking host. It's some content to the people.
Yes, we're live.
I guess we need people to talk to test out the audio properly.
Right, I was just trying to fix our audio here because I thought somebody was talking and it was just not working for us. But apparently not. Right, I was just trying to fix our audio here because I thought somebody was talking and it was just not working.
These loops tend to wrap over. It'll go like 5 times in a row. That's exciting. It doesn't appear that we're live on the YouTube channel, though.
We're just switching the stream up. We ran into a little problem. So here, I'll share the link with you right now on YouTube.
I just have one question for you. Do you see a wall or do you see a room? I cannot see our own camera.
I see a room.
Okay, perfect. Room. Great. With people. Fantastic. So I'll just leave it like that. Thanks a lot.
Lansky, you should point the camera a little down though, because we mostly see a ceiling. Yeah,
that was a trick question. That's better.
That's perfect.
So we have a different YouTube link than the published one. Is that correct? Copy link.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, great.
Yep, I just shared it with you in the chat there.
Got it. I'm going to add that to my tweet from a little bit ago.
And Lansky, we can see your room there looking good. Perfect. Yeah, it looks like we're live. Welcome, everyone. This is the Shapella live stream. We have Gnosis core devs on the call here who will talk. We have Lion, we have Felipe, and many others joining us from client teams who can speak up as well. So it's a rather informal format. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for making the time. You can all see the dashboard on the screen, correct?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great.
Can we play music in the background?
We also, it's good to give a lot of context because so many people who watch these don't really know where we're at, how we got here, what's actually happening, and why it's a big deal. Does anyone want to talk about, I guess to begin with, what is Gnosis Chain?
I'm happy to talk about Gnosis Chain. Always happy to talk about Gnosis Chain. So, hi, I'm Friederike. I'm one of the founders of Gnosis. So, Gnosis Chain is credibly neutral block space that is super close to Ethereum. So basically, if you look at the way that scaling is currently happening, it's mostly this inverted pyramid kind of scaling, where you have L2s that settle on L1, and L3s that settle on L2s and so on. And we think that if you can conceivably make truly trustless bridges, you can actually get the same security without actually having the overhead of doing data availability and checkpoints that can't revert. So Gnosis Chain is a super decentralized chain. There's 140,000 validators or so now in 80 countries. So it's 20% of the node count of Ethereum. At the same time, it's still cheaper. Of course, it's not going to be cheaper forever. Well, might be cheaper forever, but it's not going to be cheap forever. But we have the same L2 technology as Ethereum, and by kind of trustlessly connecting Ethereum and Gnosis Chain, we think that kind of we can kind of explore this horizontal scaling paradigm that sometimes gets neglected in today's conversation. That's kind of a little bit of backstory to Gnosis Chain. Let me quickly close the window because it's really loud here.
So I found that really interesting because Gnosis Chain runs its own set of validators, and a lot of I don't know if Ethereum maximalist is the right word, but I guess a common question would be, is Gnosis a competing chain or is it a complementary chain to Ethereum? And I think you sort of answered that, but will you help me get it a little bit more refined?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I think in terms of values, Gnosis and Ethereum are completely aligned. Gnosis is also incredibly long Ether. So we want to see Ethereum succeed. We want Ethereum to kind of become the global settlement layer. But we think that you need more L1 block space for that. So basically, if you kind of look at the original vision of Ethereum sharding, we kind of had this idea of kind of smart shards with their own execution environments, and that's kind of been sequentially kind of replaced by this dank sharding vision, where basically you have data availability sidecars and kind of execution is kind of outsourced to L2s. Yeah, so basically having more, incredibly neutral, resilient L1 block space to help Ethereum scale. This is kind of the vision of Ethereum. It's a little bit tricky because everyone kind of says, no one kind of wants to come out and say, look, we're an Ethereum killer anymore, right? So basically everyone says we want to help Ethereum, but we actually mean it.
Yeah. And I think I really believe that. You had mentioned, I heard you say it in one phrase, and I don't know if I tuned out, but will Gnosis check in with the main beacon chain, or will they always remain separate?
Yeah, I mean that remains to be seen. I think it's in principle it's feasible. So basically for Gnosis 2, I mean, so basically I think if you kind of look at kind of what makes an L2 an L2, I think there's a little bit of a alignment between kind of what it should be in principle and what kind of the technical definition seems to be these days. So basically, if I think of an L2, kind of what this should be in the very broadest sense, it's another network that on which kind of my funds cannot be kind of just taken from me. They can't be stolen. And if I bridge funds there, I know I can always get them back. This kind of in the very broadest sense, that to me is an L2. And kind of now that we kind of talk about state machine L2s exclusively, that kind of translates to kind of 4 criteria, right? So basically it's you need regular checkpoints that can't revert. They're actually pretty cheap in terms of gas, depending on how often you do them. Then you need, so basically if it's ZK, you need a proof that basically the getting from checkpoint to checkpoint was correct. Then the third thing you need is data availability. That's the thing that kills you in terms of cost at the moment. And the fourth thing is kind of forced inclusion. So basically, you can always exit so basically at every checkpoint you have to prove that all the forced inclusions since the previous checkpoint have been included in the next checkpoint. Otherwise, it's not valid. Those are kind of the technical requirements for being an L2 at the moment. Slightly different for optimistic in terms of kind of the checkpoint. And now basically, if you kind of look what people are actually doing, so basically Celo and Polygon and so on, they're going the Validium route. So basically they do only the first two, so only the checkpoints and the proofs between the checkpoints, but they don't do data availability. And because they don't do data availability, they also can't do forced inclusion, right? Because you need to be able to reconstruct the state of the block, otherwise you can be frozen. And kind of we're thinking about whether I mean, so basically that's already somewhere on the spectrum of an L2, right? So basically you can argue whether that's an L2 or whether that's not an L2. And I think kind of in the future, kind of L2s will come in many different shapes and flavors. And if you think about data availability, I think we're not at the optimal solution yet. So I think maybe there's a way of doing data availability optimistically, which would make data availability a lot cheaper to do. And what you can then conceivably do is you can actually make chains each other's L2s to each other, right? So basically you can in principle, you can make Gnosis an L2 on Ethereum, but at the same time you could make Ethereum conceivably an L2 on Gnosis. I mean, obviously, I'm not meaning to be facetious here, but basically it's kind of like, I think kind of we might have to find a different name for these kind of, I don't know, friends chains or federated chains, whatever, kind of more like the IBC vision. So I wouldn't say Gnosis is never going to be an L2, but I kind of, where we definitely want to be is kind of, we want to have trustless bridges between Gnosis and Ethereum. And I think kind of this, because that if you have a sufficiently decentralized validator set, that's kind of the one thing that you really need in order to be like equally secure, almost equally secure, or equally secure for all practical purposes.
So I have a bunch more questions, but no one like asked me to like, I don't know. I don't want to hog the airtime, but is it okay if I just add a few more things?
I'm talking about this stuff.
So I guess the simple big picture is Gnosis is very similar technology. In fact, it's the same technology as the Ethereum beacon chain. And so similar that you all are running the same beacon chain clients. What I guess on the other side of ETH1 and ETH2 clients, or well, we call consensus and
yeah,
it's been a minute, consensus and execute clients. What is happening today that why is this a big deal for Gnosis Chain? I think it's kind of obvious to everyone it is the merge, but what are the parallels and what exactly does that mean for people who stumble watch this video?
I think this is something that Lion should probably take. Lion, would you be happy to answer this?
Yeah, of course. So basically, in summary, the main feature of this fork is withdrawals. So with this, we complete the validator lifecycle. You're able to deposit the chain. You're able to participate, perform security duties, and get rewarded for it. And then at your convenience, you can either fully exit and get your entire stake and rewards back, or just get your rewards in an automated fashion with the scheming that would happen. So in difference to Ethereum, because in Gnosis you don't stake with a native token, but you stake with a different token, here the mechanism is a bit different. In all practical considerations, for a staker point of view, it's going to be the same. Whenever you exit or you get your scheme time, some tokens will magically appear in your wallet. And that's basically it. In our case, this is handled with a smart contract. That was one of the reasons of the additional complexity. But yeah, that's basically it.
Very interesting. So this is going to happen in about 10 minutes. Is that the expectation? I saw someone posted a countdown.
Yeah, it's 13 minutes. 13.
13 minutes.
So the current estimation is 34 minutes past.
Now, Gnosis validators and this is an actual question because I don't know the protocol that well. Gnosis validators aren't deterministic, but they also don't use like a lot of GPU to hash blocks. What gives the randomness to the block times?
So the block times should not be random.
Okay.
We follow the same specification as the beacon chain. There are some allocated slots defined by the genesis time of the beacon chain. And then at that specific block, the specific slot, sorry, either there is a block or there is not. So if you take the average can fluctuate between the minimum, which would be the slot time, or some number above. But the specific timestamp is known basically forever. You can compute the timestamp of any block that you want up to infinity.
Yeah, and that for me, that was a pre-merge confusion. I was thinking about events before the merge, but yeah, this is deterministic as long as the block producer proposes, which so we should be here within a few seconds of expectation, right?
Yes.
And for those, oops, sorry. For those who don't know you, Superfizz, can you just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I was about to suggest we should do a couple introductions here because I see some really fun folks. So I'm Superfizz. I call myself the Beacon Chain Health Consultant on Ethereum. It's a made up title. I'm really just a guy who advocates for decentralization of the Beacon Chain. I'm a Gnosis enthusiast. I host some Gnosis validators because I like the similarities with Ethereum. It gives me something to kind of play with and see, like, you know, how things might be different. So it's just fun. And so, John, I'm going to flip the script and ask you to introduce yourself, and then ask you to give everyone else that same opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I just want to say thanks for making the time to come on the call. Super great to have you here along with everyone else. My name is John. I'm part of the comms team for Gnosis Chain, and I'm a contributor at the Gnosis DAO. Yeah, maybe everyone from Gnosis can introduce themselves. I know Friederike was just talking, so yeah, we could go through some short introductions. That'd be great. Friederike, you want to go ahead?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm Friederike. I'm one of the 3 founders of Gnosis. Obviously, now there's lots of people working on Gnosis in different entities, all kind of related to Gnosis DAO. We have built a lot of infrastructure over the years, kind of to benefit the Ethereum ecosystem, just because we were early and kind of were builders. Yeah, so things like CowSwap, the Safe, MEV blocker, agnostic relay, and so on. And a couple of things that obviously didn't make it in the end, but yeah, we've been around. Our latest thing, other than Gnosis Chain, is Gnosis Pay, which is a way of kind of attaching a debit card to a self-custodial wallet. So basically you can pay directly from your wallet wherever Visa is accepted. And what basically that allows you to do is to turn any self-custodial wallet into an on-chain neobank. You can also give yourself an IBAN. So you send money to that for the American folks here. That's kind of like our version of the routing number. So you send money to that IBAN, shows up in your wallet. You can do separate transactions right out of your wallet. And basically the rails are just so much more efficient that basically if everything kind of becomes truly on-chain, you end up reducing costs by a factor of 2,500 as compared to regular banks. So yeah, this is kind of where we're headed. It's kind of really the first product that we've built. So basically everything so far has kind of been more on the protocol side. But this is something that I hope in due time regular people will use without actually having to understand how anything works, only that kind of it works better and faster and cheaper than what they had before. Cool, sorry, that's a super long intro.
Federica, I just want to say I was at ECC and I was there when you guys introduced Gnosis Pay, and I want to say like the buzz in the room was so good because everybody was so excited to hear about it.
Yeah, it was so basically what Martin on stage actually did a Visa transaction live that kind of then showed up on the blockchain like 2 seconds later, and basically there was it was super buzzy in the room, because kind of for the first time really, it's always difficult to kind of claim first time, right? But for one of the first times, kind of it's now possible to no longer distinguish between on-chain and off-chain assets, because so far, kind of, if you want to go from on-chain to off-chain and vice versa, you always had to go kind of via some sort of centralized custodian, right? So basically, you send money to a centralized exchange, and then kind of you off-ramp the other way into DeFi and the other way around. But now kind of you were kind of dismantling the barriers between off-chain and on-chain and kind of making it like interchangeable. So so basically the equivalent in my eyes is a little bit kind of the introduction of Skype back in the day. So basically Skype's initial value proposition was that you could call any number for the local tariff, basically because everything until the last mile was voice over IP. And then basically they just had to pay for the last mile. So kind of it's set on top of existing in an existing network. This is exactly what Gnosis Pay does. So basically it sits on top of the existing Visa and MasterCard payment networks. The value that's kind of added for the user here is kind of that you can self-custody until the moment that you pay. But basically, if more and more people actually have these sort of on-chain bank accounts, kind of you can make it basically you can enable truly peer-to-peer payments and kind of cut out everything that's currently rent seeking. And I think that's a pretty good value proposition. So yeah.
It's really great. I know obviously that Gnosis did Safe, and everyone in the world loves the Safe product. I honestly was not aware that Gnosis also did CalSwap, which is widely loved. So this is really a good opportunity to learn a little more about Gnosis and say, wow, that's a good suite of products. And so I think I'm on board with this Pay product.
Yeah, so we'll roll it out for people in Europe first. So obviously you can pay anywhere in the world, but basically just because kind of we have to loop into the existing banking system. Kind of we got the license for Europe, the UK and Switzerland first, and then kind of we will roll out to US Americans later this year. But hijacked the introductions here, so we stopped after the first one, and I actually see other Gnosiers here. I see Lion, I see Philip, I see Arman, I see Dave. Yeah,
and
John,
we're about 4 epochs away, or 3. So Dapline, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm the guy looking at the logs in the background. So we are 220 seconds away from the fork, but very quickly, yeah. I'm the fork coordinator and team lead at Lodestar, just making sure that Gnosis Chain is safe, and we go safely towards like nice features like this one. I think that's it. If you want, like when it's very close to the fork, we can say what's going to happen, what are we expecting to see. We'll probably be distracted by it, but yeah, if anyone else wants to introduce themselves.
Yeah, Felipe, do you want to say a quick word, and then maybe I can play a little bit of music while the hard fork happens, and then we can pick up the conversation after.
Yeah, sure. Actually, just a question first. Can you see my screen right now in the stream? Because I'm going to be presenting a bit like what's going on, what we're looking for. So that would be useful. So yeah, I'm Philip. I'm the core dev coordinator for Gnosis Chain, and I'm going to walk you kind of through what's going to happen here.
Felipe, sorry, hold on one second. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and then you can go ahead and share your screen. Oops, sorry, I just muted you also, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, now we can see your screen.
Awesome. All right, so we should be nearing the fork at this point. I guess that's around 2 minutes left. So just quickly to talk through what we're expecting. So of course we have this, if I can find it. So of course we're expecting the the participation rate to be quite high, like before. So starting at, in 20 slots, which is 1 epoch and 4 slots, we should be hard forking. So this should be displayed here in the logs. So if you have any clients on hand, you can watch it yourself. Maybe we'll even get some ASCII art. I'm not sure which clients still have it. Hopefully Lighthouse does, because that's the one you're looking at.
No, they don't. Only Lortan and Nimbus.
Okay, well, we have Nimbus here, so let's move to Nimbus then. So yeah, I guess at this point I'm just going to stay on this screen because the fork should be happening soon. And then we'll be looking at participation rates, if blocks are created, if withdrawals are actually happening, so that we can see also directly on gnosis-chat.in here in the withdrawals part. So this should display all withdrawals happening for every epoch. But yeah, let's wait for the merge to happen. Sorry, for the hard fork. I don't know, I still say merge when that happens ages ago at this point.
20 seconds.
I think I opened it by saying merge a lot, and it's because it's 5 a.m. and I'm still waking up. Sorry about that.
Nine seconds.
Come on, give me owls. Okay, I see owls.
You do?
I did see owls and I see withdrawals. And I'm gonna execute withdrawal right now.
Okay, I actually didn't see any owls, but hopefully that still works. So at the same time, we can check here the fork monitor to check if all the nodes have the same fork, the same block hash, to make sure that there is no fork. So we have Nethermont and Aragon here, all are on the same chain. So that's already a very good start. Yeah, so let's look at the withdrawals. Yeah, that's great. So withdrawals are actually happening. We're starting at index 0 basically, and the validators are being swept. I don't know how this should be called, but so the first validator is actually getting it's not 8 GNO, presumably it's 9 mGNO, which is divided by 32 basically. Some bug in the interface, but yeah, so withdrawals are happening. And so we can also check the smart contract now to make sure that actually they have a balance in their in the contract, which they can now claim, which is what Lion, I think, was explained earlier, meaning that on Gnosis Chain, so the withdrawals don't appear immediately in your wallet. It's first kept in a smart contract, and then you can call the claim withdrawal function. This will be automated by us later. We'll subsidize this so that it's fully automated. But in the meantime, you can check your balance on the smart contract and also already get it, claim it yourself. So if you're in a hurry to spin up new validators, for example, you can just go here, claim withdrawal, put your address in it. And of course, you will have to connect a wallet, but then you can just get that GNO out of it.
So Felipe, that's different than how Ethereum works, right? Because the withdrawals are automatic to the withdrawal address.
Exactly. So initially we were supposed to do that as well, but there's a few complications, I guess, with the fact that we are using a contract because we stake GNO and not the native token. So basically, when a withdrawal happens, the beacon chain tells the smart contract, okay, that user needs to get some GNO. And that's kind of a problem because it's a system transaction, meaning no events are emitted, meaning that you can't, well, it breaks ERC20 basically. That's what it comes down to. And so in the meantime, there has to be an additional step, which is claiming those withdrawals. But this will be automated by Gnosis, meaning that we will automatically for everyone.
Hey, we have finalized the fork epoch. Let's go. Awesome.
So all good then.
Participation is dropped to 90% from 96%, which is really good. So great. Thank you, stakers. Thank you, everyone, for updating in time. We also apologize for the issue we found yesterday with the Web3 signer that forced some stakers to do a last-minute action. But even then, people comply. So big ups to the staking community of Gnosis.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. So I guess 6% didn't update in time, but it's by far enough to finalize. So that's awesome.
And you all have a deep connection with DAppNode, and I think many people are running their Gnosis validators on DAppNode. Is that a correct understanding?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. We have a huge DAppNode community. And in fact, the DAppNode team is here on the call. Lansky, I don't know if you're around, if you want to say hello and introduce yourself, or if there's anyone else on the DAppNode team who wants to say hi. Or Chewy, I see you're on the call. If you want to say hi, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I don't think the team can hear us, but thanks for being here and congratulations, Gnosis team, for this successful Shapella upgrade. And yeah, we've been very, very happy to be able to support the Gnosis Chain infrastructure. And yeah, as Lion said, there was like a small detail yesterday with the Web3 signer update, but luckily most people didn't have any issues. And yeah, we're very, very happy to be part of this. So yeah, thanks for having us here.
Yeah, I also want to quickly mention that the participation rate actually already went up again. So we are at 94% now, meaning that we actually only dropped about 2% compared to before the hard fork.
And not to put you on the hot seat, Nixo, but I know you're part of the eStaker community, and just, yeah, would love it if you could also introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, I'm Nixo. I'm part of eStaker. eStaker just helps stakers. We help decentralize the chain, the Ethereum chain, and we help stakers wherever they come from figure out how to set up their nodes, troubleshoot their nodes, and we help any initiatives that help home stakers figure out how to get up and running.
Super cool. Yeah, thanks for making the time and coming on the call.
Yeah, definitely excited to support this.
And we also have, and sorry, my camera's not on. It's super early in the morning here, so I'm doing everyone a favor. We also have team members from Nethermind on the call. I know that we have Carlos here, or Marcos, I believe. If anyone from Nethermind wants to say hello, we'd love to hear from you.
So I can speak. I'm from a Nethermind team. I'm doing mostly QA stuff in there. working closely with Marcos and Carlos, which are supporting you very much on those things which are happening exactly right now. And I'm coordinating it from the Nethermind side.
Very nice. Thank you, Camille. And
Hello.
hi there.
Łukasz here, tech lead from Nevermind. I see also Ruben here, who was implementing actually withdrawals for the Gnosis Chain in Nevermind side. Marcos, who was testing it, Camille already said, and we have also Carlos, who was doing all the DevOpsy stuff and running DevNets.
Yeah, I want to say big shout out to Nethermind for all their work. I congratulate the stakers this time because on the last fork, participation was not optimal. And we have been so used to the reliability of Nethermind that we just give it for granted. So big ups to you guys.
Thank you.
And also Erigon, who are very close to being production ready for the chain. Hopefully soon, we would like to see more diversification in the chain with the client. So yeah, also thank you to the team.
Thank you. And yeah, we have Somnath and myself working on Gnosis Chain support in Aragon.
Yeah, congratulations to all teams and just an incredible coordination effort here. And really nice to see everyone come on the call and just share the moment together.
Yeah, I'd also really like to thank the comms team who did a fantastic job, especially yesterday with this like snafu for a work-free signer and still got everything out despite it being late and whatever. Our participation rate is actually up to 94.5% now, so everything is good, everyone updated. Thanks to the comms guys, you did a fantastic job.
That really does speak to a highly engaged validator set.
So was the Gnosis, the DApp node update, was that a manual intervention or did it auto update? Because it seemed to happen extremely quickly. And maybe no one here knows. I was impressed with I guess how it got put back together. I'm a big fan of DApp node products. I guess I prefer the CLI myself, but I know a lot of people depend on that graphical interface to get their stuff running and updated. So
Sorry, Superfizz, were you talking about the Web3 signer issue yesterday?
only sort of more about DApp nodes updates in general. Like, would that update have been automated or would it have been a user intervention update?
Yeah, but yesterday I believe it was a user intervention. Like you had to manually go in and make sure that your Web3 signer was configured correctly. But otherwise, all updates are automatic with a DApp node. I believe that it's pretty user friendly in that regard.
I think it depends on your settings, but I think you cannot enable automatic or not automatic, but I guess we have the DApp node team here, so they should comment on that. Or
Hello.
Ryan, maybe? Yeah.
Is there a loop? Feedback loop?
No, you're mute. We don't detect a loop, Deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a lucky event that I just happened to be with the DApp team because I missed them, and we were chatting about the web designer and detected the bug. So happy coincidence.
It's probably a good time to do a summary of so we know that we're justified and finalized. what's and we know was it 96% participation right now? I'm not peeking at the moment.
Yes, we dropped a bit, 94% around there.
So I don't want to be the one to call it, but it looks like a fully successful upgrade. Is that fair?
Yeah, so we fork correctly. Participation is good. Withdrawals are working as expected. We did a test withdraw claim and it worked fine. Participation is fine. Logs are good. So far, so good. We will keep monitoring for the next hours and basically forever. We have infrastructure surveilling the chain. Sorry, monitoring health metrics. But so far, so good. None of the problematic issues that we expected happen. So I will call it a success, yes.
So based on past history, based on Ethereum, if that's any indication, we're ready for the validator queue to start filling up.
Yep, we'll see. It will be interesting to see the mechanics here, what the community does. Yeah, there has been a healthy inflow of deposits leading up to the fork, which was good to see. And just you can see here the decrease in stake. There was an incident yesterday by Gateway. There are no funds at risk for anyone, but they will do a postmortem. It was basically due to an operational issue. But besides that, there was a healthy uptick in deposits on the, I think, last 3 months.
Super nice. Congratulations, team. That is wonderful.
Yeah, big shout out to the core dev team. A lot of hard work obviously went into this. And yeah, thank you so much for all your hard work, and yeah, congrats. We also have team members from Gateway here. If you want to say a quick hello, feel free to unmute your mic and introduce yourself.
All right. Hi. I'm Joe from Gateway Infra team. And yeah, I was the one who caused the incident yesterday. So yeah, there are going to be a postmortem with some action soon, as mentioned before. But yeah, we run a Gnosis Launchpad for validators, and also some of the Chiada node and Midnight RPC node. We previously we also had some standby node set up just in case network couldn't reach finality. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the experience, with the user experience of all the clients and the whole staking setup. So far, yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, I guess happy to share and learn from others. Happy to be in the community.
Great, we're happy to have you here.
And John thanked the core devs and the core dev coordination. Obviously, I second that, but the forgotten team is comms here. So actually comms has to do all the communications about to get people actually to upgrade their nodes and everything. So thank you so much, John and Aman. You are the true MVPs here.
Yes, and shout out to Arman for inviting Superfizz and Nixo and having the eStaker community here. It's really great to have you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Really, I'm super excited and happy now. Yeah, we made it.
And Aman also, for everyone who's interested in staking, which probably everyone on this call, Aman also has a super nice newsletter called Rhino Review.
Today, I will share on the new issue with the successful Gnosis Chain hard fork.
And maybe this would be a good opportunity to talk about what's next on the roadmap for Gnosis Chain. So Dapline, maybe you want to speak to that, or Friederike. But while we have everyone on the call here, could be a good point to touch on.
Dapline, do you want to talk about client and basically hard forks and so on? And I can talk about kind of where we aim to be in a year or so in terms of kind of like
yeah, that sounds good. So in terms of forks, we can talk about the very immediate future. So the next fork is called DNF. It's not scheduled yet on any fork because software is not ready. As it becomes ready, we will have dates. For this fork, the diff that we plan to do between Ethereum would be practically 0, if possible. There will maybe be some minor tweaks regarding some economic considerations on blob usage. But besides that, we expect to be a very minimal fork. So I would expect for this fork to happen roughly the same time as Ethereum. Hard to do predictions, but we would expect late this year, if there are no hiccups, potentially start of Q1 next year. You want to take it from here, Fredrik?
Yes. So on the remaining chain side, what we're looking forward this year is kind of implementing account abstraction, but via relayers. So that basically you don't actually need to deviate from the Ethereum roadmap, but basically we're engaging with Gelato, who will handle this on our side. And basically that will allow everyone who kind of builds dApps on top of Gnosis Chain to kind of to plan on having users use smart contract wallets, which makes user experience a lot better. What's also basically onboarding people is also a lot easier with account abstraction, because you can kind of get people to kind of sign up with email, you custody their keys for you, and basically if they're ready, if they're ever ready, or when they're ready, they can kind of swap you out for someone else, or they can custody themselves and so on. So it makes onboarding much easier. And as I told you earlier, we're kind of targeting both kind of the on-chain neobank market, but also we have a project called Circles UBI. This is one of the other portfolio projects that I haven't spoken about yet. So basically, it's an on-chain blockchain. It's on-chain UBI. There's currently a 1,500 people trial in Indonesia happening. So it's kind of the less dystopian version of WorldCoin in a way. So basically, there's not like a central register somewhere that kind of decides who gets UBI or not. So basically, it's a web of trust based system where everyone is immediately incentivized to kind of to prune their own trust connections, and it does not require a central operator. And obviously, for this kind of making networks, making wallets and the network more user-friendly, and I don't mean that in the crypto sense, I mean this in the actual normie sense. This kind of requires account abstraction for wallets. Yeah, so that's one of the next things that we're working on, and let's hope that we can kind of leverage this to onboard a lot of people in the coming months and years. I just saw that Martin joined. Hey, Martin, you missed it. Everything went very smoothly. Okay, maybe Martin can't.
Hey,
okay.
Finally, yeah. Sorry, everyone. I'm actually right now in the hospital. Just had a surgery yesterday, but was still too curious to miss this call, so I at least followed you on YouTube. Yes, it was nice that everything went well. I think it's always there's always an unknown because I mean, I think it's a good thing that we don't know who all the validators are, and they are across the world, and you try to reach out and kind of inform about an update, but essentially then the moment of the fork is really the moment of truth, and you basically upfront have just the guess of where participation might be. That's super nice to see that. Apparently most our validators are keeping an eye on their nodes and are doing this. I think the kind of monitoring you all know. So I think everyone in Ethereum is or there is this big goal to make it easy to run a validator, but I think we all know in practice it's still I mean, it's not a ton of work, but it's still I mean, whatever. There are your hard disk runs out of space, or you need to restart it from time to time, or you need to follow those upgrades. So it's definitely it's definitely also not something you can just set up once and then just forget about it. But ultimately that's also important. So also to your question earlier, whether it's auto upgrades or not. If everything would be auto upgrades, you wouldn't really have decentralization, because then essentially it would mean it's not the users who decide or the validators who decide whether an upgrade or fork is happening, but it's kind of some central authority that can push an auto upgrade through. So it's actually really, really important that people individually kind of make a decision to kind of opt into a fork. So at the end of the day, it needs to come with some level of engagement, or kind of struggle almost. Otherwise, it's hardly a decentralized chain if people are not kind of really following what's going on and making their own decisions, and essentially, worst case, blocking a change.
Yeah, and just a quick heads up for those of you who don't know, it only requires one GNO to spin up a validator. And Nethermind has one-click solution with Sedge, and obviously there's DAppNode, which is intended for people who are not technically minded. And
there's another solution I want to give a big shout out to. It's called Stereo. Also super nice. So it's kind of a compromise between kind of. I mean, I think the ultimate form is to have your physical device at home and run it either via DAppNode or kind of directly bare bones. But Stereo, I mean, you can also use Stereo with your own physical device, but they also make it very, very easy to set it up with essentially a cloud provider. So you can rent a machine on whatever DigitalOcean or what your favorite cloud provider is, and then really kind of with a few clicks, set up everything. Again, so it's still your own dedicated machine. You can run it, of course, as a validator, but you can of course also use it as your own personal RPC node. So of course it allows you to connect your MetaMask or Rabi or whatever you're using to your own node. So I think that's in my view, that's super important to have that. I see it sometimes with with other chains that that essentially something like EtherScan or the main RPC provider goes down, and then people don't even really know whether the chain has a problem or it's just kind of EtherScan. And this is of course different if there are enough, or ideally hundreds or thousands of people that have their own node and that can check the state of the chain independent of a few parties. On this note, has anyone checked whether Gnosis Scan or EtherScan is, I think, directly after the fork? I think they didn't pick up the chain.
I didn't check right after the hard fork,
but no, I think yeah, it seems all good now. Yeah, directly after the hard fork, for me it was for a few minutes at least. They were stuck at the block, but it seems all good.
And they're also with, indexing withdrawals as we speak. So tomorrow probably it should be possible to see like the withdrawals like on mainnet for every address. Another announcement, I guess, is that as we speak, the bridges are being re-enabled between Ethereum and Gnosis Chain. So you'll soon be able to, well, bridge again.
On the withdrawals, technical question, how long does it take? So kind of if I trigger a withdraw, how long does it take until I have the GNO kind of liquid again?
So with trigger, do you refer to doing a voluntary exit or the automatic scheming?
Voluntary exit.
So I don't remember exactly the timings, but you will be put in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shouldn't be too long. I would say on the order of multiple hours to a day for you to be.
Of course, depends on the length of the queue, right?
Yes.
Also,
if you are slashed, it's much longer.
Right.
And then once that's done, then your balance is available on the contract, and you are able to claim it, and then it will be on your account on that same transaction.
Cool. I see the DevNode team. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Paul. All right.
So I gotta go too. I think we are good. As we say, we'll keep monitoring. If anyone has any issues, doubts, if you need to exit or change your credentials or claim, just hit the forums. Happy to help you all.
Yes, or you can visit the Gnosis Chain Discord, and we'll share the link right here. Yeah, we're coming up on the hour, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It's great to see so many team members coming here and sharing the moment. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks for all the coordination. It's incredible to see. Congrats to everyone, and we'll see you on chain.
Absolutely. And thank you also for joining, for everyone for whom it's super early. I know that there's quite a few on this call. So have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.